What up, guys? Good tutorial. Today we're going to go through the Hussein-McMahon Correspondence that started on July 14th, 1915. Let's get it. So it was a series of 10 letters between Hussein bin Ali, the Sharif of Mecca, and Sir Henry McMahon, British High Commissioner to Egypt, discussing British acknowledgement of Arab independence and asking for British assistance in leading the revolt against the Turks. Let's go. So, first letter from Hussein to McMahon. Article 1, basically, first of all, he's just asking for the British help and acknowledgement of the Arab state, and that would be Article 1, acknowledgement of Arab state by the British. Article 2 is proclaiming that the British will have economic priority in the Arab regions given that they do accept the conditions. Articles 3 and 4 are saying that if either party were to get in a conflict, essentially they would help each other. And Article 6 says Article 3 and 4 of this treaty remain in vigor for 15 years, and if either wishes it to be renewed, 1 year's notice before lapse of treaty to be given. 15-year agreement to help each other, basically. All right. So this is McMahon's response to Hussein. Very short, very dry. But he just says, yeah, we acknowledge the Arab Caliphate. We acknowledge that. He says that Your Highness and your people are of one opinion that Arab interests are English interests and English Arab. So they say, yeah, we share the same interests, but at the moment we're kind of in a huge world war. So we don't want to assist you right at the moment. And also citing that there's Arabs in occupied Ottoman territory that are still following Turco-Germanic orders. He says, let me find it. Okay. Especially as we have learned with surprise and regret that some of the Arabs in those very parts, far from assisting us, are neglecting this supreme opportunity and are lending their arms to the German and the Turk, to the new despoiler and the old oppressor. Interesting. So yeah, he's saying, I don't really want to do it. Then Hussein reassures McMahon in the following letter, saying that the Arabs are with the British here, only so far as the British accept the proposal to help them. And where is that? There's a quote here that I did not underline. With reference to your remark in your letter above mentioned that some of our people are still doing their utmost to promote the interests of Turkey. Bro, where is it? In order to reassure your excellency, I can declare that the whole country, together with those who you say are submitting themselves to the Turco-Germanic orders, are all awaiting the result of these negotiations, which are dependent on your refusal or acceptance of the question of the limits and on our declaration of safeguarding their religion first, and then the rest of the rights from any harm and danger. So he's saying they're currently supporting the Turks and Germans, but as long as you guys accept our limitations, then we will renounce our support for them and support y'all. All right. So on October 24th, 1915, McMahon responds basically saying that we do accept your conditions, except that we offer our own limitations as well, saying that Mersin, Alexandria, and portions of Syria west of Damascus, Homs, Hama, and Aleppo should not be included in the Arab Kingdom, given that Mersin and Adana, which is it even mentioned in this letter, or is it only in the next one? Anyways, he's just saying that they're not they're not completely Arab, so they shouldn't be regarded as the Arab Kingdom. But he does say in Article 1, Arab independence shall be recognized. Article 2, he says, will guarantee holy places against all external aggression, and will recognize their inviolability when the situation admits. 3 and 4. Great Britain will give to the Arabs her advice and will assist them. And then Article 4, it says Arabs have decided to seek the advice and guidance of Great Britain only. So it's exclusive advisors from Britain to the Arabs. And then Article 5 is saying that since Britain already has a hold in Baghdad and Basra, that those spots should be placed under special administration, not under like the jurisprudence of the rest of the Arab kingdoms cities, in order to serve the British interests that are already there. Hussein responds back, Mersin and Adana removed from proposed Arab kingdom. He says, we renounce your instance on the inclusion of the vilayets of Mersana and Adana. Aleppo and Beirut to remain under the Arab kingdom. He says that what's his name? McMahon was saying that we should is it in this? Yeah. Because in the last letter, McMahon says, as for those regions lying within those frontiers wherein Great Britain is free to act without detriment to the interests of their allies, France, I am empowered in the name of the government of Great Britain to give the following assurances. Yeah. So he's saying Syria or parts of Syria should be further discussed with France and not given to the Arab Kingdom. Hussein comes back and says, no, those parts are indeed Arab, but they're just Christian and Muslim Arabs, but there's no difference, he says, but the two vilayets of Aleppo and Beirut are sea coasts, and their sea coasts are purely Arab vilayets, and there is no difference between Muslim and Christian Arab. They are both descendants of one forefather. Beautiful. Okay. McMahon comes back and says essentially Aleppo, Beirut discussion postponed, Baghdad discussion postponed. January 1st, Hussein says, honestly, none of this stuff even matters, but Hussein says more about the France thing. I honestly forgot what he said, and I didn't underline anything here. And then, he says no, he doesn't want to give France that part. What's his name? What's the guy's name? Oh, yeah, McMahon. He's like, whatever. Okay, good. All right, this is where it gets crazy. Article 1 of the February 18th correspondence. Hussein says, firstly, we had informed your excellency that we had sent one of our sons to Syria, one of them being Faisal, to Syria to command the operations deemed necessary there. So, furthermore, he says, and that he is awaiting the arrival of forces announced from different places, especially from the people of the country and the surrounding Arab regions as Aleppo and the south of Mosul, whose total is calculated at not less than 100,000 by their estimate. And he intends, if the majority of the forces mentioned are Arab, to begin the movement by them. And, if otherwise, that is, of the Turks or others, he will observe their advance to the canal, the Suez Canal, presumably. And when they begin to fight, his movements upon them will be different to what they expect. So he's saying, we got our son Faisal in Syria posted. He's ready to command 100,000 troops upon you guys supplying us with such and such. Furthermore, in the second article, he says he proposes that his eldest son Ali to be in Medina to occupy the Hijaz Railway. He says, with sufficient force, sending our eldest son to Medina with sufficient forces to strengthen his brother, who is in Syria, with every possibility of occupying the railway line and carrying out such operations as circumstances may admit. So, moving on, here are the asks. He firstly asks for 50,000 pounds in gold for monthly pay of the troops levied. Next, by the way, in this last sentence of the first ask, he says, we beg you to send it with all possible haste. Freaking chill. All right. Second, they ask for food, rifles, and ammunition. He says 20,000 sacks of rice, 15,000 sacks of flour, 3,000 sacks of barley, 150 sacks of coffee, 150 sacks of sugar, 5,000 rifles of the modern pattern, and the necessary ammunition, 100 boxes of 2 sample cartridges enclosed, and of Martini Henry cartridges. That is of the rifles of the factory of Saint Etienne in France. I guess he's just asking for like a certain kind of rifle. Anyway, his third ask is to drop it off in a port of Sudan. It says, we think it better that the place of deposit of all these things should be Port Sudan. And then 4 through 8, he just gives the instructions on the delivery. And then McMahon concludes it by just saying, yep, we agree. And then 3 months later, they started the Arab Revolt in June 1916.